All right, welcome back to the Unwritten Rule. Today is Saturday, September 6th. It's just me, a solo pod. Wanted to jump on and do a quick recap of the border war. Missouri beating Kansas 42-31. Kenny and Peyton will be back. We might do a show Sunday still. It just depends on their travels. They are not here because they're both at the game or in Columbia for the game. Very exciting win for Mizzou, so that's why they're not here. We might do a show. It just depends on their travel on Sunday. Might do a show when they get back. But wanted to hop on at least for 5-10 minutes and give just kind of some quick takeaways here on Saturday when it's all still fresh in the mind. And still all out there on the day of the game. Just wanted to jump on for a little bit. So it'll just be me, but wanted to give some thoughts. I have some thoughts from Peyton that he shared with me from the game too. He texted me a list of quick takeaways. So we'll get to those. But Missouri wins the border war, beats Kansas 42-31. What a game. My goodness. It was an exciting one. Obviously, Missouri coming back from 15 down. It was down 21-6 in the first quarter. It was looking fairly bleak at times. And then just managed to turn it around, and it went kind of back and forth. Really, after that safety, of course, that Missouri forced on Jalen Daniels, definitely not an attempt to swipe the ball into the end zone. That was a funny moment with Lance Leipold getting mad at the refs. There was some other ref moments in this that we could get to too. But Missouri wins. You had a couple of field goals that they had to hit. They slowly but surely churned it down from 21-6. You had the Kevin Coleman touchdown, the safety, the 2 field goals from Meyer tied it up at halftime. 2 Brett Norfleet touchdowns gave Mizzou 28-24 and 35-31 leads. And then Jamal Roberts rips off that 63-yard run at the end of the game when it looked like Missouri was just going to try to run the clock out right after the 2-minute warning. They come out and win it. It was a crazy game. Definitely lived up to the border war hype. I believe I've meant to write this down. They showed a graphic. It was the largest comeback, I want to say, since 2000, or maybe highest scoring game since 2000. One of the two happened, but it was pretty awesome to watch Mizzou pull that out. It was funny seeing Eli Drinkwitz getting mad on the call for unsportsmanlike conduct after Dalen Carnell got the game-sealing interception. I admired that from Drinkwitz, just kind of working backwards. I admired that from him, just kind of getting mad, knowing how important this was, wanting to see it out to the final whistle. Missouri does win. Let's get into some takeaways in the form of some winners and losers. I wrote some down, and this kind of will hybrid with Peyton's notes, kind of riffing on the fly here again, because I don't have any co-hosts to riff to. But winners, I think you have to start at QB for Mizzou. Beau Pribula, he went 30 of 39, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns. Missouri, by the way, 595 yards of offense, so 334 of those were from Beau Pribula through the air. He was phenomenal. Credit to, I'm going to reference my own notes here, Peyton. I couldn't remember between Kenny or Peyton. Peyton had Beau Pribula as his game MVP. He said Beau Pribula needed to show out for Missouri to win this one. He needed to prove, they could do some things through the air and prove how much this rivalry kind of mattered to a guy coming from the outside, and he did it. Beau Pribula, I think, checked every single box. His composure, I thought, was so impressive. Some of the throws he made, the one where he dropped it in the bread basket to, I want to say it was Josh Manning in the third quarter. I can try and maybe find it as I talk, but the one where he dropped it in the bucket to him was really impressive. Made some super nice sideline throws. I thought bounced back from that fumble really well. I think, it kind of seemed a little bit nervous to run at times. The pocket sort of collapsed on him as well, which we'll get into with the kind of lone loser of this game. But I thought he did pretty much everything he could do. I think the running, like I said, was a little limited, and I think a little self-imposed limitations after that early fumble. But I think he kept his composure. He responded super well. Made some just excellent throws. He was dishing it out to a ton of guys. We'll get into a couple of receivers, but just looking at the numbers, I mean, Kevin Coleman, 10 catches, Brett Norfleet, 7, Donovan Olubide, 3, Daniel Blood, Marquise Johnson, Josh Manning, Jamal Roberts all had 2s. He found Xavier Lloyd in the first quarter. Hardy had a catch. So, just dishing it out. He can throw. I think it's fair. You can say all you want. Oh, it's Kansas. They don't have the most build secondary. But I think Beau Pribula proved a lot of things to a lot of people. today. And I think one of them is that he can throw the football and make plays with his arm. I thought he had some really good composure. So first winner for sure, Beau Pribula, and shout out to Peyton for naming him MVP. I'll give Kenny the next shout out because we'll go right to the receivers. I'm already talking about them. Kevin Coleman Jr., my goodness, some just massive catches. The one over the middle that he snagged, that was a gain. I think it was on a third or a fourth down. This third and 2, I believe that he completed over the middle, and he made that catch. That was really good. Didn't make a play until like early in the first, like late in the first quarter, and then just started getting involved, got the one touchdown. That came on the 4th and goal. Mizzou also awesome on 4th down today. That was exceptional. He had the 50-yard catch, and I mentioned the 10. And actually, it was this one. Sorry, the 4th down, 4th and 7. That over the middle catch where he gets nailed, hangs onto it, goes to the ground. I thought that was a veteran receiver catch. This guy's the real deal. I think Mizzou fans, knew that coming into the season, but man, he proved it. Had a flat out awesome game, 126 yards and a touchdown. Kenny named him his MVP for the pregame, as a prediction. So credit to Kenny. He got that one right with Kevin Coleman Jr. He was fantastic. Didn't do anything dumb on punt returns either, which is, always a plus. We'll have a quick special teams take too. But yeah, he was awesome. Just a constant target for Beau Pribula. And just got involved. He caught, passes in different ways. And then I loved what Mizzou did, and this gets into another winner, and it's Brett Norfleet, who had 7 catches for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is the Brett Norfleet we all know. This is the pre and post-injury Brett Norfleet. But the second touchdown where Kevin Coleman does the little, actually it was the first touchdown where Kevin Coleman does the little motion, and he, kind of does the hesitation. I thought they used Kevin Coleman in motion really, really well on top of what he did as a receiver. But Brett Norfleet, also awesome. Some of the pre-snap stuff for Mizzou, Kirby Moore, another deserved winner, I think, in this game was really smart. And I thought that totally unleashed Brett Norfleet. 8 targets, 7 catches. He had the 2 touchdowns. The second one for him was huge toward the end of the game on that. And again, another 4th down where it's just 4th and 1. And it always seemed like on those 3rd and 4th and shorts, there was only a couple times Mizzou got stopped, and it felt like a lot of times in the passing game they had a guy open, and this time was when it was Brett Norfleet and Pribula able to just complete it to him. All you're looking to do is pick up the first down, and he's able to run a really nice route. Everyone goes right, he goes left, catches it short, and just runs for a touchdown and gets that 27-yard score. He was great. And then the stat of the game, and these are going to go to the other 2 winners on offense. And actually I have one more too, but the stat of the game, Missouri, 261 rushing yards to Kansas's 31. Now 4 sacks for Mizzou's defense. That obviously contributes to Kansas rushing yards, but the discrepancy in the run game was major. And that is a credit to both Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts. Ahmad Hardy, 25 carries, 112 yards and a touchdown. And then Jamal Roberts, who at times, I'll say, Kenny and Peyton and I were texting a little bit during the game. And, Peyton even at one point, I think it was the first drive of the 3rd quarter, said too much Jamal Roberts. And that was when Missouri, of course, got stopped and then went for it on 4th down, didn't get it. And I sort of agreed at the time. And then it just seemed like as the game went, they found a way to unlock the 2 of those guys. They were just both spectacular. They made the most of their touches. I thought Ahmad Hardy was great. I thought he showed exactly why he, almost or was top 5 in the nation in broken tackles. Everyone's favorite stat that we're going to keep mentioning throughout the year. He was fantastic. I think he's a really powerful runner. He showed it. I think he is going to be absolutely fine against SEC competition. I know that's still another step up from Kansas, but I think you can lean on him. I mean, he had 25 carries. And we were saying that Jamal Roberts was getting involved too much. I mean, you don't say that often. And I feel like I'm digging Jamal Roberts, which I do not intend to, because he was also excellent. 39-yard run there in the 2nd quarter. And just, some kind of decent runs on drives in the 3rd. Again, some play calling, whatever. It's not going to be perfect. But then, of course, capping it off at that 63-yard score where he gets the ball. He knows exactly what to do. They're doing that wide zone. That's so beneficial when you're trying to run the clock out to get outside. You waste a couple more seconds. That looked like that was going to be Mizzou's plan coming out of the 2-minute warning. And all of a sudden, the space out on the left side was just wider and wider and wider. He just kept running and scored that touchdown. I think Mizzou absolutely has something with him too. He was great this game. I think 13 carries is probably about perfect for him, and this is the most he's probably ever going to capitalize on that. And even if it's 2/3 or half of what you got out of him today, and then you get what you're getting out of Ahmad Hardy, to this level or close to this level, I think the run game is in a excellent spot. And I will say he got a little bit used in the pass game as well. Roberts, 2 catches, 9 yards. So I guess not a ton, but yeah, I thought he was good. He can maybe be. I think Pribula does have to work a little bit on like throwing the outlet pass. He had another one that he sailed to Roberts that I think lost to. He tried to throw it. He looked like he's trying to throw it over the left tackle, and then Roberts just got nailed. He had one in the Central Arkansas game where he did the same thing and threw it over his head out of bounds. But that is what it is. They were both excellent. I thought the run game was perfect. And again, it all ties into Kirby Moore. I think he called a phenomenal game. That first drive for Mizzou was as good as it could have gotten, after forcing Kansas to punt. You march right down the field in 5 plays. And then the game management after the safety to keep Kansas off the field. And, you're only doing, I think they only ran what was like 2 offensive plays or something in the second quarter. And you just keep Jalen Daniels on ice, who had looked like was going to take over this game and do the Jalen Daniels Superman thing. And he did at times. There was that drive late that they were able to punch in and take the lead back, at the end here in the 4th. But I think keeping him on ice was just really impressive. You have 7-minute drive followed by an 8:40 drive. You had 4:37, 5:34. This is a Missouri team that usually wants to go pretty quick. And I thought they used the tempo and the time of possession to their advantage. And I think that's a credit to Kirby Moore's play calling. I thought all that was great. And then the last winner on offense from a skill guy, Donovan Olubade. I mean, talk about living up to being billed as this guy who, it's more than a freshman. This is someone who's going to get used in real action against real teams. He was. I mean, he had 3 catches for 29 yards, and you felt all of them. Because, of course, the one that everyone's going to remember is that one-handed snag on the sideline on 4th and 10, where Beau Pribula just throws it up to him. It looks like it should sail out of bounds, and he goes up and gets it. He had another catch on a 3rd and 7 that it doesn't look like went for a first down. And then he had the 9-yard gain where it was this was 3rd and 7 in the 4th quarter that people remember because it, of course, set up the 4th and 1. He actually, and I think the broadcasters got this right, sort of had a freshman moment where he's kind of looking at his defender trying to, make a move on him and should have just sprinted and probably would have picked up the first down. But that was still a big catch to be an outlet like that. And then he had the one for 10 yards really early in the game. It was the first catch, first completion that Beau Pribula threw was 9 yards to him. So again, he is a very real part of this offense. He can absolutely step up if, say, Marquise Johnson is kind of bracketed out of the game. This team has bountiful weapons, especially if Brett Norfleet can keep doing what he's doing. So that was all of the offensive winners I had. Defensive winners, I had the defensive ends. Now, I will give Peyton's kind of formal takeaway on this that he sent to me. He said defense is a bit Jekyll and Hyde. And I kind of agree. And I think that kind of goes to the defensive front. I actually thought they did a decent job getting semi amount of pressure on Jalen Daniels. I think Jalen Daniels did a lot of Jalen Daniels things and had some good escape plays and got out of the pocket and made some throws. There were times where he had a lot of time to throw the ball, and the offensive line for Kansas won those battles there. But I thought overall the trio of Damon Wilson, Darius Smith, and Zion Young were great. Or were solid enough, at least for the most part. I thought those guys all played really well. I thought they chased Jalen Daniels. I thought they made some pretty key plays. You look at the numbers, Zion Young got the 2 tackles, the 1 TFL. He, of course, forced the fumble that turned into the safety. I thought that was a big play. It's a play you need your veteran defensive end to make. I thought he made it. I thought he was pretty good. Damien Wilson, actually, neither of them had a tackle. But I just thought you got the 2 QB hurries each. I thought in terms of getting to Daniels, they did fine. That was my takeaway. Could they be better? Sure. Should they have maybe against two relatively inexperienced Kansas tackles, maybe, but I think you take what you can get there. And then the other absolute winner on the defense is Dalen Carnell. This is a guy who has just been awesome for Mizzou all year long. He got kind of burned on the one deep play for Kansas, which I need to pull up. It was the long completion, which they had a couple. The secondary overall, I still there's some iffy stuff for me there. But the deep pass, yeah, this one, 50-yard pass to Levi Wentz down to the 9. Dalen Carnell was kind of put on an island there, got burned, totally bounced back from it. That interception was phenomenal. Again, similar to Zion Young, you go to effort plays that you want to see your veteran guys make. Jalen Daniels trying to throw that ball away, and Dalen Carnell says, no, I'm going to punish you for being flushed out of the pocket and having to throw the ball away. Makes a toe-tapping interception to seal the game, kill off any chance of Kansas winning. Peyton, in his words, says Dalen Carnell deserves to be remembered as an all-time Tiger, and I think I agree. So there you go. And then he added pass rush in particular as hot and cold. Again, I thought there were some fine moments, but they were what they were. Zone coverage with the secondary worried me. That drive where Kansas took the lead back, I thought actually the man-to-man, the two plays that Mizzou was in man, Jalen Daniels didn't have an open receiver. Had to throw it into coverage, and there were two incompletions. He was dotting up the zone coverage. I think that still needs some work for Mizzou secondary. I think good quarterbacks can still beat that if the pressure's not getting there, which of course part of that is you're relying on the pressure to get there to hope that the quarterback can't find those pockets. But I thought Jalen Daniels did that at times. So that was a little bit of maybe a loser from this game, or not as much on the strong note. And then the only other one, to go back to the offensive side of the ball, the most shaky part for Mizzou on offense. I'm going to be really curious to see what the PFF grades are for this game. They didn't give up. I think Beau Pribula got sacked. It was twice for 26 yards. It felt like more. And I think maybe a couple where Pribula actually got across the line of scrimmage and then just got tackled when he was trying to make a run. I did not feel like he had enough time often. Like it was not a great day from the offensive line. Connor Tollison at the beginning of the game in particular was bad. I didn't think he played well. It wasn't as glaring as some of the Central Arkansas mistakes. And once again, I think you saw them somewhat grow into the game. They opened up enough holes for the running backs. I do think Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts deserve credit for how they run and create space for themselves. But I'm going to be curious to see if PFF reflects this when those grades come out for this game, because I thought the offensive line was pretty shaky at best. I don't think it's consistent. Peyton's official take was O-line is not great still. And I agree. I think it's still shaky. I think Brandon Jones probably needs to rip into them a little bit for some of this film. It wasn't at the point where it felt like it was going to cost Mizzou a game. You look at the penalties as well. Missouri didn't have a ton. There was 3 on offense. One of them was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which I think which is actually on Connor Tollison. And I don't remember actually what he did for that play, but you had a false start and 1 delay a game, which actually was on special teams, I think, before a punt, so that they could back it up. So there wasn't too many penalty issues. I just think it has to get more consistent. I'm concerned when it comes to, because you see it with guys like Damon Wilson, Dara Smith, even Josiah Trotter and his ability to get in the backfield and make tackles. You're going to face that level of competition in the SEC, and I am not confident in this offensive line holding up at the moment. So that was my biggest probably loser from this game. And then some of the DB stuff still worries me. And you look at, Jalen Daniels missed 2 wide open throws, and then you had the Emmanuel Henderson catch on the sidelines that should have kept Kansas's final drive going that he just dropped. And those guys were open, and it was either Jalen Daniels just overthrew them or you had a drop. You have to have some of those lucky plays, especially in a rivalry game like this, but that was a little bit tough, I think, as well from a secondary standpoint. And then special teams. Connor Wesselman had a really good punt. His one punt that he had was good. There was the pooch punt kickoff thing. I don't know what we're doing there. And then Robert Meyer had an extra point blocked. Again, in closer games, that could win or lose you a game. It's not great. He's a true freshman. And you know what? He hit 2 field goals. I'm always going to be a little bit more pro special teams than, say, Peyton, who I believe said, I hate special teams so much, were his words to me. So, yeah, it's still not great from Eric Link and co. Tavoris Jones returning a couple kickoffs. There were some weird ones. He set up Mizzou in some deep, not great field position at times. But again, it all is out the window for this week. I think it's things we can talk about as we head into the Louisiana game in week 3 for Mizzou. The point is, this game mattered so much to Missouri. I think we can all agree that in the eyes of the fan base, it mattered a lot more to Missouri than it did to Kansas. I don't think Kansas really wanted to play this game again. I think and you know what? Mizzou proved why. There you go. So I think this game mattered a lot. I think Mizzou's season would have been really derailed had they not executed this, and the pressure was absolutely all on them. I think Kansas came in playing like or at least should have come in playing like they had nothing to lose. And I think I think there's something to be said for a team that's in that position. I think you can take advantage from a position like that. And Mizzou didn't let them. Mizzou kept their composure. They knew how much this game meant to the fan base, and they executed, and they got it done. Doesn't matter how you took care of business. You took care of business. You beat your rival. You got the bragging rights. You got win number 58. I'm going to look it up. I think it's win number 58. That's going to be embarrassing if I don't get it right, because I know it's unofficial for both teams, but I'm bad at typing and talking at the same time. I'm trying to pull it up. Border War. Oh, this is in both football and men's basketball. I think it's win number 58. I think it's win number 58. I'm gonna find it one more time, because you know what? It's a solo podcast, and this is great podcasting. Mizzou, Kansas, Winsipedia. Shout out Winsipedia. No free ads, but they're a good site. 58. I was right. 58 wins, 54 to Kansas. And the streak's up to 4. 5 is the longest. They'll play again in Lawrence. So there you go. All right, there's 22 minutes of me. You don't need any more of me yapping. I knew I was going to end up talking for too long. This was an awesome game. We'll cover more of it in our next show. Kenny and Pay will be back. I promise you won't have to hear my voice solo ever again if you so request that. So there you go. That'll do it. Border War recap. A phenomenal win for the Missouri Tigers, 42-31 over Kansas. We'll be back potentially Sunday, for sure Friday, with a Louisiana preview, and probably if we don't do Border War cleanup before that, we will do it then. So there you go. I'm going to go drink a glass of water. So cheers. Mizzou wins the Border War. We will see you next time.